All right, I should be back up. Are you all still here? Drop some stuff in the chat if you're still here. Cuz on my end I'm seeing 0 viewers. So I just want to give a little bit of time for the folks to get back in. I don't know why OBS doesn't let me do windows that I opened after after opening OBS. It doesn't make much sense to me. Seems like a very big mistake in the way the program's set up, but it is what it is, I guess. I should probably start doing screen captures rather than window captures, but I'm always hopping back and forth between so many different windows that you guys don't need to see. I'm gonna take this hoodie off really quick. It's kind of hot in here. I turned on the heater because it was cold, and now it's a bit much. Hold on. Oy. My hair is all over the place. All right, I'm seeing Greg is back. Hey, Greg, how's it going? I know Conspiracy Buff and I don't know Taken Username were both in here. I don't know if they've made their way back in or not. Hold on. Let me just really quick do in the Discord another @tag to make sure folks come back. There we go. You have a good Christmas, Greg? I know Conspiracy Buff was trying to ask about my Christmas, but then I had to go down for a second. And I don't know if they're back, but I'll talk about my Christmas regardless. We didn't do much of anything special, but I bought Borderlands 3 for the fiance because we've been playing through those games, and they've been a lot of fun, and we figured, you know what, we can't really do a big Christmas this year just because of money and not being able to go see anybody because of COVID. So we got Borderlands 3, played that for a while, made some food, drank some drinks, and watched Dragon Ball Evolution. Had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, because of the drinks though, I am not feeling quite up to where I usually do. Little hungover, so I might not do this the 4 hours we did last week, despite how fun it was. It might only go for maybe an hour and a half, something like that. I'm getting skipped frame detections, so hopefully I'm not running too choppy. Had a good Christmas. Got some art stuff and like 2 movies and 2 movies and new movies. Blah blah blah. But hell yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I feel like I should try to get back in touch with doing art and stuff like that. I think today, since I'm not feeling quite up to par. I've got like a couple different places that we could go with the timelining project today. One of which being going through old Batman Beyond websites, which I've got a lot of them bookmarked to make that easier. Another one is going through the Batman Beyond comics, which I think would be a lot of fun. But I've got notes on mostly all of them already, so it'd be kind of easy to go back and forth through those notes and find what we need. But I think more than anything, what we're going to be doing today is going through the DCAU resource timeline. This is a website if you don't know this website, they've been a big DCAU fan hub for a long time, and whenever I first was getting into the DCAU, their timeline was very instructive for me. The issue that I've had with it though is that they don't take any of the tie-in stuff into consideration unless it's been specifically mentioned by a producer to be canon. So really, the only thing is the Batman Adventures annual that introduces Etrigan, because Bruce Timm has said for sure that that's canon. But otherwise, like, nothing else has been, brought in that regard. And so as a result, their timeline goes mostly by production order, and say if it's June in one episode and then January and episode 2 down the line, then it's just like, that's June 1996, that's January 1997, and then everything after that is in 1997 now or whatever. And I don't like going that route because I like to be kind of complete and have it as fleshed out as possible. They also take like the Bruce Timm 50 years in the future as the correct thing, despite Zeta Project saying 2041. So, we just have different approaches. Let's see. Conspiracy Buff is asking if I have ever watched Spectacular Spider-Man. I haven't. Was that the one with Drake Bell? I do have a couple Spider-Man shows on my to watch list, but I feel like so much of my to watch list is superhero media, and I don't want to put too much of that on the fiance, just because superhero burnout and all that stuff. Like it's not a thing, but it's kind of a thing. Because comic book stuff goes into different genres and everything, but just it feels sometimes you might want to watch other stuff other than just a dude in tights. So we've actually just started watching Steven Universe, but we'll probably be getting to Spectacular Spider-Man at some point, maybe once we get Disney Plus. The Josh Keaton one, Greg Wiesman and Victor Cook were showrunners. Okay, yeah. I knew Greg Wiesman, or Wiseman, however you pronounce it, was on one of them. I just didn't know which one. Is my microphone cutting in and out? Because I'm hearing static in my headphones, so I'm hoping that it's not coming back to you guys. I'm thinking it might just be a headphone connection. But yeah, so we're gonna go through the DCAU resource timeline today and see what they've got with Batman Beyond stuff. As we did last time, it seems that whenever I try to, I don't know, am I still getting skipped frames? But it seems like whenever I try to bring up the episodes to stream to grab just the screen grabs or whatever, my computer doesn't like to do that while I am currently streaming. So what I will do is that I will just kind of go through the DCAU resource thing, control Fing Batman Beyond, and seeing like what they say in their source stuff is the way that things go. And then I'll just kind of write that down in the timeline, and I'll go back in and get the screen grabs and everything later to make it work. I don't remember which ones of you were here last time. Greg says he loves Steven Universe. Yes, so far we're only like maybe 9 or 10 episodes in, but so far it seems like a really fun time. But yeah, so last time we kind of had that issue with the screen grabbing, so I went back in between last week and now, and I've added a lot to the stuff. I found the website that we had used that said that Batman Beyond was 50 years into the future. Got the it's fall kind of stuff going on, the stuff about Zeta, so it's starting to kind of look a little nice. But it'll probably look like a mess again after we do this. Let's see. So their first Batman Beyond entry is Nightwing leaving Gotham to establish himself in Bloodhaven. Event occurs before the events of Grudge Match. When Nightwing is sighted, the event is mentioned by Barbara Gordon in Batman Beyond's Return of the Joker. Okay, but that's not really evidence of why it's in 2004. So I'm going to skip that on to the next one. 2004, Mr. Freeze's head is turned over to Wayne Tech's Research and Development Sector for study. On Batman Beyond's Meltdown, it is mentioned this happened nearly 50 years ago. Okay, so that's not accurate. The line is take a good look, Doctor. I've been like this for nearly 50 years and immortal. Right? It doesn't say anything about when his head was turned over. It doesn't say, I've been ahead for 50 years. It says I've been an immortal for 50 years, which helps place whenever he first became Mr. Freeze, not when he first became ahead, because of the fact that that in Deep Freeze, it's mentioned that he's an immortal. So I can, at the very least, put a marker for nearly 50 years ago that happening. Oh, that's not the correct color. So how's that's not even that's not right either. So how does everybody's weekend going? How was Christmas? I know Greg said they got some art stuff, got some movies and stuff. I'm sure that there are other people in the chat who also had a Christmas though. Nearly 50 years ago, and let's make that bold. Mr. Freeze becomes an immortal. And then I will line those up to each other. Gotta love whenever these arrows don't want to go straight. There we go. That's kind of better. Mine was fine. No family though. That kind of sucks. Yeah. I Christmas is kind of weird for me. We used to do really big family get-togethers back when I was younger at my grandparents' house, up until my stepdad and aunt got into a really big argument one of the years, and it kind of just stopped happening. But like ever since I moved out, like I consistently have been trying to have Christmas parties every year with all of my friends and everything, and we were doing those pretty regularly up until I moved to Seattle, where I didn't have any friends. And even if the small amount of friends that I've made since then, if I wanted to throw a Christmas party this year, it wasn't really in the cards because of COVID. So, it's a bummer. But otherwise, I got to spend a lot of time with my fiance Sissy. I was saying earlier, we got Borderlands 3, and it's been pretty fun so far. It's really interesting to see, how that universe shapes out now that they're going to different worlds and everything. But I'm kind of bummed there's like some issues with the in-game text is very small, so we have to keep getting up off the couch and getting really close to the TV to read what we gotta do for missions or like gun stats and all that stuff. And so that's kind of annoying. But otherwise, it's really fun gameplay. The story's kind of interesting so far. But other than that, we made dinner. We got kind of drunk. We watched Dragon Ball Evolution, and that was a really fun time. I always expected that I would hate that movie, just because of how everybody else has reacted to it. But in my head, like I've kind of I guess rationalized it to be like bad on purpose, and so as a piece of comedy, I thought it was brilliant. Um, Congo Wonga says, "Got the Batman Beyond Blu-ray set on my birthday, so that's kind of epic." Hell yeah, hell yeah! I got one of those. What was that, last Christmas, or was that my birthday last? I don't remember. But yeah, my fiance bought me that Blu-ray set whenever it came out. It's definitely a lot of fun. Let's see, the next thing they've got on their timeline here. 2005, the Joker attempts his final plan to kill Batman. He kidnaps Robin and subjects him to torture and experimentation for 3 weeks. Robin kills the Joker with a prop gun. This event is told on Batman Beyond's Return of the Joker. The date is based on Robin's age when he begins his career and the last known event in the present. Okay, well, that doesn't really work out for me. At least as far as reasoning for things. We've got the Return of the Joker flashback on here already, and one of the pieces of evidence is from the movie. It's been almost 40 years. We've tacked the movie down to likely be in what is it? In summer of 2042. But I feel like there were a couple other things that we could go off of to kind of nail that down a little bit more, add a little bit more context to that date. I'm trying to think what was I looking for? Our Google Drive, because they word it differently in different versions of the Return of the Joker story, right? So one says it was almost 40 years ago, right, in the movie, and I want to say that the comic says it's been over 30 years. So let me see if I can find our digital copy of the comic really quick. I would just pull it up on DC Universe, but last time I tried to go on there, Ted's account was not renewed, and so I don't know if he's renewed it since then. Greg says, I can't get that Blu-ray set. I wish, but I can't. Yeah, it's kind of expensive, so I feel you. But if you've got like HBO Max or something, though, it's coming soon, so I wouldn't sweat it too much. Really, in this day and age, you only ever need physical media as like a collector's piece, unless you're just like, oh, I want to have this in case it moves off of this streaming service to another streaming service. But if you have that point of view, then I feel like that's kind of pretty close to where you would be owning physical media as a collector's piece, because like there's all the bonus features and stuff that you wouldn't get from it being on a streaming service. And I've always thought streaming services should have all that kind of stuff, but most people don't care about that in the way that I do with like the DCAU stuff. So it is what it is. Let's see. So there's the flashback. And here is the page with Tim Drake. Too many streaming services. Oh yeah, absolutely. I've gotten to the point where we've kind of been talking about stopping one streaming service, or just having one at a time instead of paying for multiples, because we'll binge a show and that'll take like a month, and that's a month that we're not spending with the other services that we have. And it's just money going out the window. Okay, here it is. I'm trying to drag it with my finger, but it's not being too helpful. Look. Jesus. Why? Just let me. Oh my God. Why won't it? Let me zoom. I think I zoomed the full window. No, I didn't zoom the full window. Let me zoom it out regardless because it's acting like I zoomed the full window. Nope, now it's going into full screen. Gotta love when technology backfires on you. Which one was it? It wasn't page 35. Here we are. Page 26. Hey, no competing live streams, Shake Fist. Well, you know, I brought that up to James, but the tag that you put me in was posted, I believe, after we had already put up notices for tonight's stream. James forgot that we were doing these weekly, and forgot to put it on our full schedule. But this was planned. Oh my god, why is the Zoom doing this? Help me, everybody. I need no Zoom. No Zoom. Okay, there we go. That's much better. Now let's try this. Just zoom with that button rather than me dragging around. Yeah, so here we are in the Return of the Joker comic. It's saying, look, it was over 30 years ago instead of it was the almost 40 years, which the happy medium, like, that would suggest that it would be like, 35 years ago, maybe. Boom. Got a snip of that, and I'll put it into the timeline. Once I save the snip. ROTJ over 30 years. We were planning on doing a watch along as well, but I think James said that he couldn't figure out getting the thing set up. However, whenever he did try to figure it out, it was last night while Sissy and I were drinking and trying to make some content for the channel. I forgot to check what you guys are doing, considering all of my users are from the WDB server. It's all good. I was saying earlier, I'm probably not going to be on here too long tonight just because I'm a little hungover. Kind of goes with the territory of not drinking much anymore and then going all out because it's the holidays. So I'm not feeling my best at the moment. But if you wanna whenever it gets closer to time, he mentioned something about doing it tomorrow, but I'm not sure that's set in stone. Yeah, we were just having issues trying to figure it out. Tomorrow was supposed to be the day, but it is what it is if it doesn't happen. I've got one more piece of evidence on when the Return of the Joker flashback happens. I've got the original screenplay. I bought it off of eBay a little while back, and come to find out, it's actually signed by Paul Dini. That wasn't mentioned in the eBay listing at all. So it was a nice little surprise. But I want to say someone brought to our attention that they say the specific amount of time it's been since then, and also that his age is in here. Let me see. Barbara Terry Mann. The man goes to be Tim Drake. Let me see. No, he says it's been over 30 years. I want to say that there was a point where they said a specific amount of years. But here he says, look, it's been over 30 years. It wasn't easy, but I managed to put it to bed and go on with my life. I could have sworn. because I'm pretty sure that I had flipped through and seen him mentioned specifically, but maybe that's something I'll just have to come back to later and refined, I guess, rather than keep y'all waiting with bated breath about whether or not it says specifically. You know, it might be at the start of the flashback. It might be like, oh, this was, you know, flashback to X amount of years ago. So let me just check there at least. And then if it doesn't come up, then I'll just kind of flip through it and figure it out for next time. Let's see, that's the start of the flashback. This is a really cool book. It's got like what do you call it? Storyboards and character models and like unused versions of character models and stuff. Let's see. No, I'm not seeing anything other than the almost 30 years ago. So I'll at least document that. If I can find the page number again. It's been over 30 years. And then I'll put that as from the screenplay, Return of the Joker. Screenplay, page 98. And then I'll add in, I'll scan that in and everything so that there's visuals for that next time. And then I want to say there was a mention of Tim's age being 51. Yeah, meet Tim Drake, formerly Robin, at age 51. Yeah, and that's on page 97. So I'm going to put 51 years ago. Tim Drake is born. Oh no! Oh, because it's doing it as a child of that bubble rather than. Greg wants a copy of the screenplay. It's really cheap on eBay. I think I got mine for like maybe $5 or so from thrift books on eBay. They might not have. Oh no. They might not have another copy of it right now, but they might. But it's not hard to get your hands on, because it was released commercially through Scholastic through Watson Guptill, a publisher that I've never heard of outside of the DCAU tie-in stuff. So 51 years ago, Tim Drake was born. And I'm going to... That's not what I'm wanting to do. I want to connect them. The arrow. Yeah, there it is. No, why doesn't that one have an arrowhead to it? That's fine. And it doesn't want to do the purple text for some reason on the children. I think it was that purple. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Nope, undo that. Text color. That purple. And then that's Return of the Joker. Screenplay, page 97. Justin Lego Productions, because it's Saturday. Absolutely. I'm kind of halfway surprised that like that meme, I guess, still lives on despite the fact Vanishing Point's been over for a year. But I guess it's just tied to my identity now. I was trying to watch Return of the Joker, but I'll just get it on DVD. Just make sure you're getting the uncut rather than the cut version, because I know both are on DVD if I remember correctly. And I have the Return of the Joker novelization right here as well. So I'll scroll through real quick, find the flashback scene and see if it changes anything about the date for that either. Nope, so that's when Barbara Gordon was still doing this. Okay, that's close to. Okay, so in the novelization from Scholastic, it says it's been 35 years. So that might be what I was thinking about in regards to the screenplay. It's been 35 years. It wasn't easy, but I managed to put it to bed and go on with my life. And that is Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker. And I'll scan all these in, like I said, in between streams, just so that my computer doesn't have a hard time trying to figure it all out while I am on stream, because it tends to not want to do too much at the same time. Here we go. Boom. It's been 35 years. The uncut is the finest version of it. I feel like the version of the Joker's death that's for kids, it seems like something Joker would survive from. Yeah, it does kind of feel open-ended, but I feel like it's a bit gruesome, a bit more gruesome than Timm shooting him, because it's like he died from his own hand or whatever. But it also kind of makes it so it doesn't have as much emotional weight for Timm, because it's not exactly his fault. Okay, so that's what I got on the Return of the Joker flashback, is those 4 pieces of evidence. What was the next thing we got? 2006 AD, Dr. Leslie Tompkins clears Tim Drake after a year of rehabilitation. This event is told on Batman Beyond's Return of the Joker by Commissioner Gordon. Okay, yeah, I do remember them saying something along the lines of it's been a year. Rather than flipping through all of my versions of Return of the Joker again right now, I'll just take their word for it, and I will source all of that. I'll source all of that later. Let me move all of these over so I have room to put that in. Let's see. Drop that down here. Move this bad boy over here. Move that bad boy right there. This is gonna look so good once the whole thing is done. Hopefully. Because I've always wanted like a just a giant visual like explainer of where things are, why they are where they are, etc., etc., etc. And so if no one else is gonna do it, I guess I should be the guy. The way Jay's reviews commentated on it makes it better. I feel like I don't watch everything Jay's put out, so I don't know if I've watched that one. I do feel like I've watched his whole DCAU retrospective on account of it kind of interlocks with our channel lore, and I had to make sure that we didn't do anything to contradict. So I feel like maybe I watched it, but I don't remember specifically what his takes were. If that makes sense. All right, there we go. And then let me unselect those. Deselect all. I'm just gonna put 1 year later for right now. Tim Drake is... How did they word it on DCAU resource? Is cleared. After a year of rehabilitation, Batman, however, Leslie Tompkins clears Tim Drake. Okay. Leslie Tompkins clears Tim Drake after a year of rehab. And then I'll just like double check all the wording and everything. Whenever I get, whenever I go around to doing all of the in-between stream kind of stuff. Oh, why are my keys not working? I put a period after the 1 on accident. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. What? Like my backspace key's just not wanting to work. And that's okay. And I gotta bold this text. And that'll look pretty next time. I wish they still sold the censored version of Return of the Joker. Yeah, it would be nice if they did. Just you know, so it doesn't get lost to time. Return of the Joker is so good, it might be better than Phantasm. Personally, I think you're correct there. I do love Phantasm, and Phantasm's definitely the best Batman movie. But Return of the Joker is a better movie altogether. And I know you could say, well, then that means that's a better Batman movie, but it's a different Batman, right? Phantasm is the best Bruce Wayne Batman movie, whereas Return of the Joker is the better movie altogether, in my opinion. All right. So where do we go from here? Batman and Talia defeat Ra's al Ghul in the near apocalypse. Okay, yeah. So that's something that's brought up multiple times. We do have the mention of it in Out of the Past, and we have a mention of it in Epilogue. So I will go ahead. Oh, I have a stray little box down here. I'll bring him up, and I'll use that one as our 2009 box. Select mode. Move all these bad boys over, because I would assume if the most direct reference we have to the time with the Return of the Joker thing is that 35 years ago, so that would make that 2007, so that would definitely mean 2009 is later. And the 1 year later after the Return of the Joker flashback would be 2008. And that's how math works. Isn't the Near Apocalypse of 09 a book or something? No. So the Near Apocalypse of 09 is the DCAU's version of the spaghetti incident, which is kind of a trope that describes something that happens off screen, and is referenced to, you know, on multiple occasions, but never has been seen. Like How I Met Your Mother had the pineapple incident. the Avengers have Budapest, and the DCAU has the Near Apocalypse. And people have always wanted to know, like, what happens there. Can we get a movie about that, etc., etc., etc. But personally, I feel like it's something that's best left alone. Because I feel like after all these years, people have expectations about it, and whatever they get won't match their expectations mentioned in epilogue. But the spaghetti incident itself, if I remember correctly, the trope name came from Calvin and Hobbes. Which, for those of you who are young whippersnappers out there, is a comic strip, which is how we used to have comics. They came in a newspaper, but no one reads a newspaper anymore. Everything's all online. I'm sure that Calvin and Hobbes isn't something that's lost to time. But hey, Rob is here. Rob. Mask of the Phantasm is the best. Return of the Joker is second best. I mean, you're welcome to have that opinion. Does the stream keep dropping? Because I'm seeing on my phone it keeps saying welcome to DCAU Watchtower's chat room. So I'm wondering if maybe my phone internet might just be goofing, but my stream might not be goofing. I don't know. Let's see. 2019 AD, Robert Vance's brain impulses are digitized. On Batman Beyond's Lost Soul, Vance states it has been 35 years since he was awake. If I remember correctly, they do... They do... On this, they take Bruce Timm's 50 years as the canon explanation for when Batman Beyond happens. So they've got it in 2054. When I think typically that would still be like in 2040 or something like that. And like the one of the main reasons that I hate using the it's always been 50 years is because if you do that in a timeline, and oh, you're saying the stream's dropping a bit. Let me see. I'm gonna close out the background music. I don't know if it was that loud anyway, if it made that much of a difference, but I think maybe since that's streaming audio, it might be goofing up the stream itself. Yeah, I'm seeing that I've had 11 errors, and I'm not even really doing a lot, so I don't know. But yeah, they take Bruce Timm's thing into consideration, which, like, if you're doing a dated timeline, I don't feel like you can do that, because he says it's always 50 years from now, whenever now is. So it'd be kind of more difficult to realistically say, oh no, this is obviously here, in 2054, because it's like, no, that always moves if you're doing it with that consideration. I think I know how Harley survived from that fall. It was by magic. Please no theories. I watched too much MatPat today. I can't handle it. Oh no. Man, I used to watch MatPat all the time, way back in the day. Like I was watching Game Theory like in its early forms, back in like 2013 or whatever. And I'm glad he's gotten the success that he has, but I am definitely jealous of it. So let's see. So we got 35 years ago. Robert Vance's brain is digitized. we'll say that's in Lost Soul, and once again, that's just gonna be a thing that I gotta come back to later and get screen grabs of. I think what I might do today is I might just try to get through the flashback stuff, because like I said, I'm not feeling I don't know, why did it just create a new bubble? That's not what I told it to do. I'm just not feeling up to the best version of myself. I'm not quite as energetic tonight as usual. So once I get through all of these flashback entries, I might call it a night. I don't know how many more of these there are. So maybe that'll be another hour. Maybe it'll be another 20 minutes. Who knows? I watched the Batman prediction. I haven't seen that one yet. Let's see. So we had 09. We had his brain pulses. Batman breaks up the third royal flush gang. The Jack from this gang becomes the king of a fourth gang and battles the second Batman decades later. On Dead Man's Hand, Wayne mentions this event happens. Dates are taken based on King and Jack's ages. I don't know if they've been given official ages, so I don't know how he he tracks things down like that in these. I wish he was a bit more explanatory in what he means there. But this Royal Flush Gang is something that's coming up in the next Legacies of the DCAU. That's supposed to be coming out pretty soon. Mark drew it, and it's gonna be really fun. I got to write a pretty big gag for it. I wish you guys could collab with MatPat. You are my favorite YouTubers. Well, if they is there a video option for the Batman on Patreon? What, like for us to make the Batman video? I don't think there is right now, but we are discussing doing the Batman video within the next year. But we need to hammer out the details of it. We want to do some subscriber milestone videos, and so if we can figure out what videos we want to do at what milestones, something about the Batman is gonna be on there. But back to the MatPat collab thing, I would 100% be open to doing that. Especially because it would, do numbers for the channel. But I don't see it as being a feasible reality anytime in the near future. I stopped watching MatPat and Game Theorist a long time ago. Yeah, his stuff isn't quite as fun as it used to be. It's a bit more sterilized and everything now, and more often than not, just a large chunk of the video is ads and then explaining the game that he'll be doing. And it's just yes, that's the story of the game. That's not a theory. That's not why we came here. Oh no, I'm still getting pretty bad skip frames. That's upsetting. Let's see. I think we've only got a couple flashback things left, so that's good. Let's see. We had 2025 Jolly Jack Candy Factory located on 691 Broome Street is closed down in Neo Gotham. McGinnis runs a search and finds this information. Okay, yeah, I do remember that. So I will put that in. I'm wondering if part of the streaming chopping up is because of the timeline graphicking. I wouldn't doubt it, because this does take some processing power, and with all the images and stuff, and how much bigger it's going to get over time, it might not be sustainable without getting a new computer. Jolly Jack Candy Factory shuts down. Dwan. and it said that was in Return of the Joker, I believe. There we go. Get that kind of there. Oh, shoot. I needed to do that as a child rather than it's fine. I can always fix that later. Let's see. What else do we got? A nameless woman gives her daughter up for adoption and undergoes mutagenic experiment. She later calls herself Ink. On Inkling, Ink mentions this event. The year is roughly based on her and Deanna's estimated ages. I can't really do anything with estimated, so I'm not even going to worry about that. Who else agrees Batman was more badass as ever in Justice League? There's been a lot of flack about that, actually, in fan communities, that like, you know, Batman already had his own show and like had, you know, basically had his he's had his moment in the sun, and Bruce Timm and Co. does kind of, you know, despite the fact that it's a team show and Batman's only supposed to be a part-timer, they do still have a lot of focus on the character of Batman, and a lot of people are just like, man, you should have given other people a chance to shine better. And I think that they did really balance it out pretty well, right? Like a lot of us like learned about the Question and Green Arrow and Booster Gold and everything through that show. So I don't really care about that complaint, but it is something that has been brought up time and again. His Five Nights at Freddy's videos are okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch those sometimes, but like I've never even played a Five Nights at Freddy's game, and I'm at the point where like I've forgotten, you know, what the plot is, because he you know, he's always guessing things and getting close and then finding out that it's wrong and then doing the same thing over and over again, and it's hard to keep up with what the lore is. Let's see. Late 2030, Xander is artificially created by Cobra. On Batman Beyond's Curse of Cobra Part 2, Xander recalls this event. The year is roughly based on his estimated age. Once again, I cannot do anything with an estimated age. 2034, Batman saves the life of Bunny Vreeland and retires after using a gun to scare away the last of the kidnappers. No, that's not 2034. That's 2019. And I have the proof. I don't know if I have it on this drive, but I have scanned it. So if it's not on this drive, hopefully it's on my computer somewhere. But I came across a copy of the Batman Beyond special promo origin issue at my comic shop a while back, and they basically, it takes the first two issues of Batman Beyond, which, you know, is the rebirth storyline, and slams it into one issue and kind of changes a couple things around in Photoshop to make things still work. And one of the things that they have at the very start is they have no, do I not have it on this drive? If not, then I might have it on my computer. I'll have to look really quick. But one of the things they do is, like, at the very start, they're just like, here's, you know, here's the exact date that Batman retired. Here it is. But, like, I think it was, like, June 2019, I think. I know we shared the image on Twitter at one point. So maybe, hopefully, I could just pull it from there. At DCAU Watchtower Twitter, Batman retires 2019. No, of course it's just going to show more recent stuff we've posted. That's fine. I guess that's another one that I will that I'll put in post. But let me at least go ahead and put the little bubble there for it. I need to zoom out some so I can select and drag some stuff over. Oh my god. But one thing with that promotional issue though is just that it says it's been like exactly 20 years to the day since Batman retired, and since they give that a June date, it doesn't really work out very well with the modern day version, but like it's the only canonical date that we have as far as when that part of Rebirth happens. So it's in my head, at the very least, it's useful for being like, yeah, no, we have at least a reason why it would take place in June of 2019, but not the other part happening in June 2039. 2019. Oh Jesus, I didn't mean to do that one as a. I am out of it right now. Batman retires. And then let me do special origin issue gives date. Rebirth says it was 20 years ago. Let me drag these down, line them up. All that fun stuff. Oh hey, Jake's here. How's it going, man? I'm hoping you had a good Christmas. There was the Batman embargo, so they couldn't even use Batman characters except Joker. Yeah. That's something that we need to do a video on at some point. And you know what? I think that there's also probably a mention of the 20 years passing in the Rebirth comic. Many years later. Okay, yeah. So the Rebirth comic does have a 20 years later thing. Oh, you know what? Speaking of, I have right here in front of me, I have a Batman Beyond kids book that kind of goes over Rebirth. It's very thin, and the art is very, very bad. Like that's what we're looking at. I feel like I think I'm a little bit behind as far as the stream is. I think there's some lag, so I don't know if you were able to see that properly, but I hope so. But at the very start, it does say that Batman Beyond takes place in 2039. So there we go. So that's something else I can add in at the very least. But yeah, we got the 20 years later here. So I will get that panel. Oh, no, I didn't mean to hide the children there. He had Batman himself in multiple projects at once, so wouldn't him himself confuse kids, not just the other characters? You know, you would think so, maybe, but with the fact that that I guess he's not interacting with the other characters, you know, it's maybe it's a thing of like, no, these things could totally be the same Batman. Beyond Mini Series issue number 1, and then let me add in you know what, I think that I'm going to be close to where James is pretty soon, so maybe I need to try to get that computer from him that he was going to give me in some sort of COVID-friendly way. And while I'm over here, let me add here from that kid's book. I've got that book scanned, I think, at some place. I'll have to double check. But there's one panel where it looks like Bruce is just like yelling into the depths of the Batcave for no reason. And it's very funny looking. But I don't know for sure if I have the scans saved to my drive or where I have them saved, so I'm not gonna look for it right now. That's gonna be another situation of add these in after the fact. Okay, let's see. So, our next one. 2034, Bane leaves prison and lives in seclusion because the side effects of using Venom catch up with him. Source, on Winning Edge, it is mentioned Bane left prison 20 years ago. Alright, I think Winning Edge is one that we had based in 2040. So that would make it 2020, but I will say 20 years ago. Bane leaves prison. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is for the stuff that has these like just stuff that's mentioned on screen rather than shown on screen. I might end up changing the coloration later to match what I've got for Zeta here. The unit Zeta goes Renegade. Just so it kind of all lines up as like, yeah, it's from Batman Beyond, but like it's not anything on screen, so it shouldn't be treated like an on-screen event. I was about 3 years old watching the Batman and B-Test, and I knew that it was two different versions of Batman, so I guess they think kids are stupid. Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, almost anyone who's trying to sell things to kids always thinks that the kids are stupid. But that was a whole fight that like Bruce Timm and them had when making Batman. Is they wanted to do a lot of kidified stuff, and they were just like, no, like we don't want to talk down to our audience. Like, trust me, they'll appreciate this. Let's see. 2034, Coach Fitz starts his trophy-winning career at Hamilton Hill High School. On Batman Beyond's Revenant, Fitz states it took him 20 years to get all those trophies. Okay. Well, that's another 20 years ago. Coach Fitz starts winning some trophies. And they said that one was in Revenant. Oh, why did it not? There it goes. got, let's see, April Moon. Dr. Corso begins his medical practice on Batman Beyond's April Moon. It's stated that he started out 20 years ago. Well, that's interesting, because we're told that, like, he helped build the Batman Beyond suit, right? Like, they used his servos or whatever. So I guess one would have to assume that Batman, like, had that suit for a very limited amount of time. Either that, or they were working together when he didn't have his practice. The select mode always likes to goof up on me. In Batman Beyond and Justice League, they always say it's been 40 years or 20 years and all that. No, so whenever they go to the Batman Beyond stuff in Justice League Unlimited, I assume you're talking about, like, Once and Future Thing. Once and Future Thing says that Batman Beyond's 50 years in the future, and I've just internalized that as being, you know, part of a corrupted timeline. That, like, they're technically 50 years in the future at that point, but, like, it's not 50 years in the future whenever Batman Beyond actually happens. Since it just doesn't line up with the rest of what we know about Batman Beyond and how it's always been said to be 2039, except for Bruce Timm saying that it's not. And, you know, you would think Bruce Timm would be the end all be all final say, but I'm working with death of the author here. And yet still sometimes taking what he has to say into consideration. At the very least, to show that you know, we acknowledge what he's saying. So that's another 20-year ago thing. So I don't have to make a new date thing. Dr. Corso begins his medical practice. And that's going to be in April Moon. I have when people think kids are stupid, or I assume hate. I hate when people think kids are stupid because that's why they dumb things down for kids. Like, wow, Bruce Timm and Co. knew how to run a show. Yeah. I mean, you know, when you assume kids are dumb, you end up making something that they're not going to return to in the future, and you're putting an obsolete you're building in to your piece of art. It's death, essentially. Let's see. Terry McGinnis is born. The event is briefly seen on JLU's epilogue, and the date is taken from when McGinnis meets Wayne. Yeah, so Terry is said to be 16 years old in epilogue. They say that that Rebirth, he was 16 years old when he started out being Batman. So I'll put in a 16 years ago situation. Oh Jesus, why is it not letting me select? I hit select mode. Both creators couldn't seem to keep the timeline in order. Yeah. You know, or that was supposed to say B-Test. Oh, so B-Test creators couldn't seem to keep the timeline in order. Well, I feel like back in the days of B-Test, they probably didn't realize that it was going to spin into this whole thing that it became. It would have been nice for them to have some kind of internal consistency, but, you know, why worry about it when you've got nerds on the internet who will do it all for you years and years later? And then let me deselect all. When they time travel to the Batman Beyond time, do they travel to 2039 or 2040 or anything after that? So when they time travel to Batman Beyond throughout the DCAU, the first time that we saw that happen was in Future Shock. And they say that it's been, he just hopscotched over 40 years, is the way that they put it. They don't give a specific date or anything. And then whenever they time travel again in Once and Future Thing, they say that it's been 50 years. And most of the Batman Beyond cast in that looks, basically the same as they did in Batman Beyond, but they did age up. They did age up Static Shock a little bit from his appearance in Future Shock. So one could assume that some time had moved between the two, but either way, it's a corrupted future, so it's not like it's the biggest deal. Let's see, Terry's age is mentioned in epilogue. They also bring up his age. I know it's in Earth Mover. But I think there was one more piece, but that's fine. That's more than enough for now, and we can always add in more stuff as we go in the future. If Terry was 16 in 2039, in 2054 he would be 32, right? I mean, depending on when in the year his birthday is, he could be anywhere between 30 to 32. Yeah, that sounds about correct. Let's see. A young gorilla is poached by James Van Dyne and later sold to two zoology researchers at Gotham State University. On Batman Beyond Speak No Evil, Fingers recalls this event. According to research on the gorilla species, it takes milk. Okay, yeah, I mean, and maybe that's something to put in, but it's not based on anything from the shows, so I'm gonna skip it for now. Bill Wallace is accused of illegal chemical waste dumping by the district attorney. It is stated Wallace did so 10 years ago in Earth Mover. 10 years ago. Bill Wallace is accused of illegally dumping chemical waste. And I'll just put Earth Mover under that. Oh, hey, Danny's here. Well, I'll tell you what I've been saying throughout the thing, Danny. I'm not feeling too hot today myself. I've been a little hungover from celebrating Christmas yesterday. So we're probably not gonna go the full 4 hours that we did last week. Especially since it also seems that there are some complications with the stream buffering. But I'm trying to, at the very least, we're getting through like the stuff on the DCAU resource timeline. They've got a huge timeline that they've made years ago, and we're going through whatever at least happened and is mentioned in Batman Beyond, but happened before Batman Beyond starts. And once we catch up with all that, I'm gonna go ahead and get off for the night, and kind of relax a little bit. I wonder how old Bruce would be in Epilogue, though. Yeah, so we tracked that down at one point. And if you take the fact that they say it's 65 years, that he's 65 years old, or not that he's 65 years old, but in Epilogue, they have the 65 years from now tag. If you take that as real, and ignore that it goes against some other stuff that we know via timelining Batman Beyond. He ends up being like 100 something. But I think realistically he's probably supposed to be in his 90s. Rob, how did you forget the gorilla episode? Are you trying to tell me that you don't watch Batman Beyond in its entirety at least once a week? Shame on you. Let's see. What do we got? I just did the Earth Mover. Greg says 80 or 90. Yeah, he's right around there. In Batman Beyond, they said he's... Hold on. I've actually got his bio up. Right here. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Maybe I can't do the touchscreen thing. That's fine. I'll just do the regular zoom. Yeah, so in his bio from the Return of the Joker website and DVD features, it says he's late 70s, early 80s. So if we're saying, you know, that epilogue is 15 years after that, then he would be like somewhere between 90 to 90 to 100 years old, I would say. Probably on the younger end of that. Let's see. Sam Young begins his first term as Gotham City's district attorney on Batman Beyond's Eyewitness. It is stated that Young served 4 years. Okay, so I guess that's 4 years before Eyewitness he's been serving. So I'll just put that as what? As 4 years ago? Oh no, did I accidentally? I did. I goofed something. This Dr. Corso thing is supposed to be over here with the 20 years ago stuff. Let's move it. Let's shrink that child in there. Now move it on over. Oh, well, it's trying to drag the entire timeline rather than dragging just the one piece. Lemon Man says, "Yo, this is my first time seeing one of your guys' streams. What are we doing?" So we're working on timelining Batman Beyond stuff, like incredibly thoroughly, much more thoroughly than we did in our video on it a couple years back. Right now we're working through the website DCAU resource has a timeline that they made years and years ago, and I don't fully agree with the way that they did it, but it is very useful in that they have like, hey, this thing was mentioned to have happened this long ago in this episode. So we're going through what they've got as far as like stuff that was mentioned in Batman Beyond that happened before Batman Beyond, and we're getting all of that set up. I think we're kind of towards the tail end of it for the night, though. Last week we went for like 4 hours on this, just going through the old Watchtower Database video on Batman Beyond. But I don't have the steam to do 4 hours today. Hopefully next week I'll be able to go for a longer time. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're getting at. 65 years after Justice League Unlimited. Yeah, so if you watch Epilogue, there's like at the very start of it, there's like an on-screen indicator that says that it takes place 65 years from now. With it being a Justice League Unlimited episode and being after the Cadmus arc of Justice League Unlimited, the most likely interpretation is that it's supposed to be 65 years after that. One of the issues with that, though, is that in the episode itself, they say that that Terry and Dana have been dating for 15 years, which is supposed to indicate that it's 15 years after Batman Beyond. because at the very start of Batman Beyond, Terry and Dana are just friends rather than dating. So, it would be 15 years after Batman Beyond, since they started dating then. But Batman Beyond's only 40 years after Justice League, based on dates given within the shows. Bruce Timm has come out to say that his vision is that Batman Beyond is 50 years in the future, consistently from whatever the last DCAU thing is, and that the DCAU doesn't work in real time; it works in Peanuts time, etc., etc., etc. But more or less, you can kind of tag it all down to real time, one way or another. So I typically ignore the 65 years from now thing, and I think it was tacked on last second because some official synopsises for the episode state that it would be 50 years in the future, which is actually a lot closer to what it would be if you're working with the real time timeline. But it's not the biggest deal one way or another. Rob gave some bits saying, "I'm going to be honest, mate. I still haven't completely finished season 3 of Beyond. Shame on you. Shame on you." The first season of Beyond is honestly the strongest. So, I don't blame you too much. But you should definitely give it a go sometime. Yeah. Okay, so we got Sam Young becomes district attorney, and it said that is mentioned in Eyewitness. And so for those of you who were coming in late, essentially my computer has a hard time running multiple things at once while I'm streaming. So what I'm doing is I'm just making the notes right now, and then by the time we come back next week, I'll have gone through and grabbed screen grabs of dialogue and everything and put it in. That way it looks really nice. See, this is what we did. This is what we ended up doing last week. We got all this stuff nailed down from the videos, and I had already put in all of the, what do you call it, the title cards and everything. But the notes, I had to just do the these kinds of notes, the text based notes. And then ended up going back in and putting screen grabs to back up what I was saying in text. I can't do quick math, so I'm lucky I'm bad at it. I'm on 3rd grade level in math. Oh man, dude, you gotta learn your math, Greg. I missed 4 hours. There's always you can always go back and watch the streams. They're all archived and everything. But we will probably have more 4-hour streams and whatnot in the future. Especially since we're trying to be incredibly thorough here. What the hell is Peanuts time? Sounds so weird. So Peanuts time, essentially, as a concept, is that time doesn't really move. You're always in the present, and it's just that's when it is. It's the present. You are in the present, kind of as a way to make sure that that you don't age your product, right? Like Bruce Timm's whole thing is like, we tried not to put pop culture references into things that way, they wouldn't age them. Because it wouldn't be something that would be topical and then years later be like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, what is this joke you're making? I don't care about it. But they definitely did end up slipping pop culture stuff into it. They ended up slipping dates into it, which, might not be his fault so much as it is the animator's fault, but it's there, so it's canon. And he went on to say that it's like a mixture of Peanuts time and Dick Tracy time or something, where like the Dick Tracy stuff is also constantly in the present, but like they do mention it's been X amount of years since this happened, blah 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 blah. More or less, it's a sliding timeline is the way that he envisions it. I do love a good chunk of season 2 though. Oh yeah, season 2 like has tons of great stuff, but for me, like the charm of Batman Beyond is so much set in the art style, and with the fact that the art style kind of shifts between season 1 and 2 because they went from like hand colors to like doing all the coloring and everything digitally. It loses a lot of the grit that it had in the earlier seasons. It doesn't have as much personality to it, and like, that's not to say that it's bad by any means, because all of the DCAU stuff that came after that, Static Shock, Justice League Unlimited, Zeta Project, like they all have the digital colors, but it's such a different thing. And with Neo Gotham being basically a capitalist hellscape, and being this weird cyberpunk kind of thing, like that grit is a large part of what created that world. And when you change up to doing digital painting rather than hand coloring everything, you end up losing a lot of that grit, and it looks a lot more sterile and kind of toned down. So it's a bit of a bummer that they did that during that show instead of just letting it go on with the style that it had at the start. But it is, being that it's made by a large company and they like to cut costs wherever they can, like it's understandable for that reason, but it just takes away a decent amount of the charm. Let's see. 2050, Superman's taken over by Starro. Aquagirl learns of this event. The year is roughly based on... I can't do... Like, they always have, like, roughly based on, estimated, etc., 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 and, like, that doesn't do anything for me. Like, here we go. Nobuo Taka dies in a fire set by Ian Peake. Ian Peake confesses to killing Taka. The year is roughly based on Peake's career... Like, how would you figure that out? It doesn't make sense to me. Bruce Wayne adopts Ace. This event is revealed during the flashback. Wayne is on his annual December visit to Crime Alley. The year is based on Ace's similar appearance to the present Beyond time frame. I can't really do anything with that. The Crown of Tikal is stolen from a Mexico City museum. King's Ransom. Bruce Wayne mentions this event happened 3 years ago. Yeah, I can do something with that. And seeing as we're getting to 3 years ago stuff here, it does seem like we're getting close to calling time. The Crown of Tikal is stolen, and that was mentioned in King's Ransom. I learned a lot more from Watchtower Database than school because of your math. I'm kind of getting better slowly. Hey, well, I'm glad that it's useful for you in that way. I've always been a huge fan of math. Like whenever I was in high school, like I was probably the best in my math classes, which like, at the time that was like calculus and stuff, but like I've lost so much of the calculus since then, but I can still do pretty basic math. I can do adding and subtracting and some algebra, maybe some geometry. In college I had like 100 in college algebra, and I was helping one of the basketball players at our school cheat his way through the class so that he didn't lose his scholarship and get kicked off the basketball team and everything, by doing his test for him. I would do my test, and then he would take it off my desk and put his name on it, and I would just fill out his test, do the whole thing all over again. That was a pretty lucrative way for me to make money for a little bit of time, because I was back in college. Like the first time I was doing college, I'm still kind of in college right now. I never finished that degree because of some stuff that came up, so I'm trying to finish that up now. But back while I was in college, there was a point in time where I was homeless, and then soon after that, the roommate that I got didn't like to pay his bills, so I was kind of shoplifting to survive for a little while and trying to find a bunch of side gigs and stuff like that. At one point I was working 3 jobs and it still wasn't enough. But But I'm glad that I'm not in that that world anymore. Cuz I'm still poor, but it's not quite where I was then, and I don't want, like, I don't ever want to have to do that kind of grind ever again, cuz it is hell. So yeah, I remember in the Grey Ghost episode, they put 1992 on a poster in the episode, and in this one video, James said, "We don't put dates on stuff." My Asperger's sim. Yes, yeah. That's something that, like, I had pointed out to James quite a while ago. Mattie, me and you can agree on one thing: Critters is the best DCAU episode. Yes, I love Critters. Apologies in advance if this has already been asked, but will this be available to look at once the stream's done? Yeah, I will definitely. I'll share what we've got, as we go. But more or less, I would like to, like, I do kind of want to save the availability of it until it's done and all solidified. But I suppose I can share it at least in the Discord, in the DCAU spoilers or whatever. Whenever I go back in. And add the screen grabs to the notes and everything. I'll share the progress, but I'm not gonna go on, like, the Twitter or Facebook or anything and share the link until it's all good and done. But if you're in Discord, yeah, I'll share it with you for sure. Oh, where were we? Crown of Tikal. Okay, so Charlie Bigelow, age 18, goes to jail for 3 years, while Terry McGinnis, age 14, goes to juvenile hall. On Batman Beyond's Big Time, Terry McGinnis reveals this to Max Gibson. Excuse me. So yeah, I'll put that as 2 years ago for now. I need to move that Jolly Jack Candy Factory stuff, because that's 14 years ago. Terry goes to juvie, and that's found out in Big Time. And then what do we got? There's a couple more before we catch up to the start of Rebirth, I think. Commissioner Barbara Gordon greenlights preparation for a weapons deal sting. Gordon took 12 months to set up. All right, I think that's actually the last thing. I think that is 1 year ago. So let me move the Jolly Jack stuff. Let me see. So that's got to be between the 10 and 16 years ago thing. And I'll probably, whenever I put in all the notes and everything in over the week, I'll probably change all the years ago stuff to be oh, what was that sound? Was that my phone? But I'll probably change all that stuff to be actual dates rather than X years ago. Jesus, I hate doing the select mode on this because I always forget that, like, I have to exit select mode and I start trying to move it. Select mode. Take that. Exit select mode. And that's going to go... I'm going to just set it up here for right now, and it's going to be in between the 16 year and 10 year ago whenever that's all done. So 1 year ago, Barbara Gordon starts plans for a sting operation. And I will whenever I add in the screenshots and stuff, I'll try to be a bit more thorough with the way that I'm naming these things as well. And that is an eyewitness. Ooh, Jesus. I'm sorry that I am yawning on y'all like this. I should have paced myself a little better last night so that I wouldn't be feeling this way. But you know what? We've made it through almost 2 hours, and we are up to Bruce Wayne encounters Terry McGinnis, age 16, on the outskirts of his property, which is in Rebirth Part 1. So we've made it through everything that at least DCAU Resource has listed as taking place before Batman Beyond. That's mentioned in the show. So that's I think that's a pretty good stopping point for right now. I'm probably gonna go try to watch Steven Universe, smoke a little weed, and take a bit of a nap. But thank you all for being here and hanging out. I do know real quick, I guess. Let me point y'all towards another stream. Because Mark is Digital Jedi on the Discord was planning to do a Wonder Woman watch along stream tonight, something that we were planning to do, but we can't figure out getting all three of us on the call at once with it streaming smoothly. So I'm going to point y'all in his direction. That way y'all can get in there with him. But I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to open up the Discord notification on my computer when it would probably be much faster to just do it through my phone and drop it in chat that way. Here we go. Yeah, Mark's just doing a live reaction. You know, he's a homie. So if that's something that y'all are interested in, here is his link. I've just dropped it in chat. But y'all have a good rest of your evening. And I will see you all on what you call it, on Thursday. We have a Wonder Woman video coming out tomorrow, hosted by Ted. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And then, as always, we have our Twitch streams Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. It is James on Tuesday reading more Justice League Adventures. Ted on Wednesday going through some of the DCAU video games, and I will be back on Thursday, continuing to read the 2018 novelization of Mad Love. It's been real fun so far. And then, of course, next Saturday, we'll be doing this again, and I will not be hungover, so it'll be probably last a bit longer than just the 2 hours. But 2 hours is longer than our typical weekday streams go anyway. So y'all are just getting all this bonus content. But y'all take care. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with y'all tonight, even if I am a little bit tired and groggy. I'm going to go hang out with my fiance now, get some rest, and maybe eat a brownie. We made some Christmas brownies and haven't gone through them yet. So that sounds a lot of fun right now. You don't live in Eastern Standard? No, I live in Seattle, so we're Pacific time. I did used to live in Eastern before I started with the channel. Back in 2017, I moved from Savannah, Georgia, here to Seattle, Washington. So that's not my time zone anymore. But y'all take care. I will see you next week. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and that you have a wonderful rest of your night. And goodbye. I'll see you later.